Hey, howdy, hello. This is Tanya, the tour guide, bringing you another episode of New Orleans Secret Myths. This segment took some research, some time, and it's definitely take a couple of episodes to get through. So please bear with me as I introduce you to Little Palermo, Blood, Bread, and Betrayal. New Orleans, a city shaped by what arrives, by river, by sea, by those who step off ships and never truly leave. Because here, history doesn't disappear, it settles. In iron balconies, in back alley kitchens, in music that drifts through the night. And in the late 1800s, a new rhythm took hold. Ships from Palermo, heavy with citrus, heavy with people. They called them lemon boats. Before those ships reached New Orleans, they began in Sicily, a land of beauty and quiet brutality. There was no reliable law, no consistent protection, only power and those who could enforce it. Landowners hired men to guard citrus groves, to collect debts, to enforce agreements, and from that, a system formed. Not official, not written, but understood. A network built on loyalty, fear, and silence. Mafia. It was more than crime, it was culture. Omerta, silence above all. No cooperation, no betrayal, no weakness. Protection became control. Control became extortion. Extortion became violence. And when Sicily could no longer contain it, it traveled. America entered the Gilded Age. Factories needed labor. Plantations needed workers. And New Orleans offered wages far beyond Europe. But what made it different was access. The lemon boats already ran Palermo to New Orleans. They carried citrus, and now they carried people. By 1870, New Orleans held the largest Italian-born population in the U.S., but they weren't welcomed. Labor competition angered poor whites. Catholic immigrants unsettled Protestants. Italians organized labor, worked collectively, and fear spread. Italophobia. As Creoles moved uptown, the quarter changed. Little Palermo was born, also known as Spaghetti City. By 1905, half the French Quarter was Italian. They built lives, families, communities, and they reshaped the city. They brought flavor, garlic, tomatoes, olive oil. At Central Grocery, the muffalata was born. Salvador Lupo gave us such a gift. They brought faith, St. Joseph altars. Still today, the hierarchy of the Easter holiday celebrations with their breads, candles, and devotion. And they shaped sound through artists like Nick LaRocca and Louis Prima. Their influence became New Orleans itself. But beneath it, the old world returned. The first mafia structure in America was here. Figures like Raphael Agnello and Giuseppe Esposito. Then came the factions, the Provenzanos and the Mentrangas. And the docks, fed by lemon boats, became the battlefield. Contracts stolen, workers threatened, gunfire in the street. The press called it the vendetta. But this wasn't just crime, it was labor, it was power, it was survival, and no one could stop it. Then came a man who believed he could, David Hennessy. the son of Irish immigrants, a man shaped by an earlier wave of struggle. He had seen what unchecked power could do, and he refused to let it take root again. But what Hennessy faced was not ordinary crime. Witnesses wouldn't speak. Jurors feared retaliation. Police officers were compromised. The system wasn't broke, it was controlled. So Hennessy made a dangerous decision. He aligned himself with the Provenzanos. They would provide information, expose the main triangles, and in return, Hennessy would help them. He had stepped inside the machine, thinking he could dismantle it. Rumors spread quickly, then came the warning, a letter. Stop or die. Then came the message. An informant, Giuseppe Mitiani, found mutilated, burned, unrecognizable. A warning to everyone. October 15th, 1890, Hennessy walked home from a board meeting with his bodyguard, J.C. Rowe. Then the ambush. 2 gunmen, shotguns, close range. He fell. But even then he fought, drawing his pistol, firing back, and as he lay bleeding, he spoke a word. Dagos. By morning, he was dead, and the city exploded. Hundreds of Italians were arrested, over 250 men. Many didn't speak English, many had no connection. It didn't matter. 19 men stood trial. Witnesses refused to testify. Even J.C. Rowe, Hennessy's own bodyguard, remained silent. The verdict? Acquittal. The city didn't believe it. March 14th, 1891, thousands gathered at the Henry Clay statue. Speeches were given, and then a call. When courts fail, the people must act. They marched through the French Quarter, past Congo Square, to the prison. They demanded entry, and when they weren't given it, they found another way. One by one, the men were found, dragged into the open, shot, hanged. Some fought. It didn't matter. Their names: Antonio Bagnetto, Bartolomeo Polizzi, Giuseppe Caruso, Antonio Scafidi, Rocco Gerasi, Joseph Machetta, Pietro Monastero, Antonio Marchesi, Charles Triana, Frank Romero, James Caruso. Some were shot dozens of times, one over 40. Their bodies were left as a message. The world reacted. Italy demanded justice. War was whispered. The United States paid reparations. The mayor lost power. Hennessy received a monument. The victims received none. While others call this false, we're going to go with research. And on March 14th, 1891, because of the largest mass lynch mob in U.S. history, killing 11 innocent Italian immigrants in New Orleans, giving rise to mafia stereotypes that persist today, to erase tensions, U.S. President Benjamin Harrison declared the first National Columbus Day in 1892, organizing a New York City parade that drew over 1 million people. That outpouring inspired generations of Italian Americans to build Columbus statues and launch parades to affirm their place in America and honor their heritage. In observing Columbus Day, they pay tribute to their ancestors' sacrifice and to the innocent 11. Their influence is still felt today, with their humble beginnings of families packed into single rooms, children slept side by side, Meals were shared. Work was constant. They were always hardworking. And outside those walls, they built something powerful. They dominated the produce trade. They transformed the French market. They worked the docks. They became essential to the city's survival. Resilience is at their border, their stepping stone. After everything they endured, their traditions still live on. Thank you for joining me on this week's episode of New Orleans Secret Myths. Next week, we'll be covering part 2 of the Sicilian influx into the city of New Orleans, covering whether it was the Black Hand or the Axeman, the Mad Murderer. Following that, with all the traditions and revelry that the Sicilians have brought to our city. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and comment. Let me know. How do you feel about what we're doing so far? Thanks, guys. Maybe I'll go live sometime. Night.